How's it going, guys? So I'm here to do a different kind of video here today. So we've done album reviews in the past, of course, most recently reviewing Limp Bizkit's new album. But I want to take a look at albums of the past. And usually what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at albums that have like some kind of significance according to the present time. Like if the album's been out for like a year, 5 years, 10 years, or like today's album, which is Korn Untitled, which has been out for nearly 15 years. Now we're kind of jumping ahead a few months because it was actually released in July of 2007. But I want to do this. I think it will be a lot of fun. Also, because there's albums that I want to look at that I didn't like in the past, and I want to see what it would be like to go and listen to them again, especially if I haven't listened to them in years, or I have listened to them and enjoyed them and want to see if I still enjoy them at the present day. So I think it will be interesting. Let me know what you think down in the comments after you watch this video and see how it goes. So, Korn Untitled, I saw, I was like, this is an album that I haven't listened to in a long time. I was like, it's time to listen to it again because there's going to be a new Korn album coming out. I think February 1st, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the very 1st of February, give or take a day. But we're going to have a new album. So I was like, let me go back to what's undoubtedly my least favorite Korn album of all time. And I knew that even when I listened to it for the first time years and years ago. There was something about this album that I just didn't like. I didn't hate this album, but as far as like a Korn album, I didn't like it as a Korn album. Now, compared to many other bands, I thought it was good by that standard. Being one of my favorite bands of all time, you tend to kind of cut them a little slack. I mean, I know a lot of people are very harsh on their favorite bands, but I tend to be a little bit nicer. I've also learned to like try to see the positives in albums. Like maybe it's not the best song or the best album, but you try to find things that you like that make it worth coming back to it. So that's kind of what I tried to do with this album. I knew that there were certain songs that I really liked on it, but let's like really break it down and try to figure out what this album was like going back and listening to it. So, what did I think going back to it? I thought that it was sort of the same. I didn't like it any better or hate it any more. I didn't feel like anything stood out as being stronger. I think I gained an appreciation though, like what the album was trying to be and where it sort of failed at. So this is definitely, without a doubt. I mean, first of all, you look at the album's title, and it doesn't have a title. It's in fact, I refer to it as Korn Untitled, but the album just doesn't have a name. And Jonathan Davis, the lead singer of Korn, said, well, this is because, we figured why name it, let the fans name it. And like right off the bat, that's just lazy in my opinion. You didn't have a name picked out for it, so, just leave it up to the fans to interpret the name. Just come up with a name, whatever it may be. So, you look at the album art. I had a wallet of this actually, which is really bizarre that it's like my least favorite Korn album and still is. But this like album art, it's I don't know why I had like it was the most recent album at the time. So like this is what they had, and I really wanted a Korn wallet, and yeah, so I bought it. But this art, like of the bird, sort of eating a heart with some other weird dudes around it, just it's not the best album art compared to what we had got. All the other crazy art that was like really artistic. This just is like just same thing with the title. So the aesthetics are already like not that great going into it. We get an intro track. It's really weird sounds. You could really tell that you're in for a Korn album. You're listening to this intro. And you never really got like intro tracks on Korn albums. I'm like really thinking back, like See You on the Other Side. We just dive right in with Twisted Transistor. You always had these hard hitting tracks, and it was always like the best tracks. Now the only album that had that was Issues. Really, you had that intro track, but it fit there, so it's atmospheric. And this album is definitely going for a sense of atmosphere. So I could kind of see what they were doing there. So the intro, I don't have a problem if you're gonna have an intro track. Starting Over. I like this song. You can definitely tell that you're in for something different. So you knew you were in for Korn with the intro, but you hear Starting Over, and you definitely know that this is a song that's like kicking off the album, the first real song on here. And you know that this is going to be different. You're in for a much different ride, and you're getting like a much different industrial sounding song. And that's fine. It's got a good a good chorus, but it's not like one of those big hits, because I'm going back to Issues, and maybe that's unfair because Issues is undoubtedly, I don't know if it's my favorite Korn album of all time. It's definitely up there. I know it's at least top 3, but without a doubt, Starting Over is not one of the strongest ways to lead into this album. But it is definitely not a bad song. I don't think it's a great song, but I think it's a decent song. We've got Bitch, We've Got a Problem. I still really like this song. It has a really good quality to it. It definitely has, again, more of that industrial sound to it. Like, that's what they're going for here. They were bringing the elements of other albums into this one. See, you had like the use of electronics, and it started on Issues a little bit, and then they really brought it to the forefront with Untouchables. If memory serves, like Take a Look in the Mirror kind of stepped a little bit back from the electronics, but then when they went to See You on the Other Side, they kind of went back to that happy medium. Here on the Untitled album that we're talking about, they were like, you know what, fuck it, let's just really bring it to the forefront and make that like the principal founding parts of all these songs. Like, it's going to be the foundation. And I think there's like a comical quality to Bitch, We've Got a Problem. There's like a theme of like schizophrenia, but it's got another catchy chorus. So like, that's something that you'll see on this album. There's catchy choruses, and Korn is known for it, but they're also known for like having a bit more. But there's a good melody going on here, not just the chorus. Evolution. This was like, I believe, the lead single to the album, and they had a music video for it. See, that's the other thing. They had the fewest amount of music videos for this. They had Evolution and Hold On, and I don't think Hold On was really like the biggest distributed music video. But like, first of all, I don't even really care about music videos, but I'm just like pointing that out, that like Korn was known for their videos, and the fact that like this album had the fewest amount of songs turned into music videos was kind of telling. But Evolution is, again, like another pretty good chorus, not like a very good Korn single, like definitely bottom of the barrel for like picking out a single on here. I'm going to tell you like what I thought that they should have led off with and really promoted as their big single. And I think it ended up probably being one of their last singles on this album that they ended up releasing. Evolution, though, yeah, okay song. Hold On. This is the one that I said where they had like another music video for it. It's another solid song, but you can really see like, man, from See You on the Other Side, such a good album, and you could really come away from every single song you listen on there. And really, I'm not like trying to put that album over and overrate it in comparison, but most of those songs were so strong that it was hard to really like find any gripes with them. They all had these like individual qualities. They all didn't sound like previous Korn songs. They sound like their own songs and all had different elements that made them special. Here you just have like these are just like serviceable Korn songs, and they kind of sound like they'd almost be like bonus tracks, like something you'd expect to hear like demos. Uh, the song "Kiss" is, this is an okay melodic song, and I do like the idea of Korn doing like these types of slower songs. We heard "Love Song" on "See You on the Other Side," and to have like these kind of like fucked up like love songs, like I'm all for that idea because why does Korn just have to have like one straight ahead style? And the funny thing is, I have a friend that told me that he didn't really like Korn because the thing was like not that he hated them, but he always hated the fact that Korn would start off strong like on a song like Falling Away From Me, and then they would go to that quiet part, like the more melodic part. And I'd always say to him, well, like that's who Korn is, and that's what makes this music special because there's highs and there's lows. And I get it. That's the new metal style, and not everyone is into it. Some people want that style of like melodic death metal, or thrash metal where it's just going to be, at a steady pace pretty much the whole way through. That's mostly melodic death metal, I think, for the most part. If I had to like really just like unjustifiably like marginalize like a subgenre of metal into like a style of like non-stop attack. um but like, yeah, Kiss is like they didn't really do it the way that they did it on See You on the Other Side. Like they had a good way of going with like a slower song, like a more emotional song where they had to slow down. It didn't always have to be about a big riff. And I don't think it's as good, but it's like I said, it's decent. Now, this is where they really fall apart. So far, you got to admit, like I just said, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs were pretty decent. Not great, but decent. And I really said like that Bitch We Got a Problem was probably the best up to this point that we're at right now talking about these songs. But then we get uh, Do What They Say. And this song, I had to go back and listen to it again. So I listened to it at the gym. And this is where really like I was like, oh God, I want to change the song already because the album just started to get boring at this point. But I kind of like forgot how this song sounded. So I listened to it again today before I did this review, and I was like, oh shit, this is like a song I'm never going back to. This song sounds like a mess. Like they were going for a melody, and it's very like purposely like off key, and it sounds nasty, and not in like nasty in a good way. Like in a bad way. Like this is a song definitely that should not have been added to the album, to say the least. Ever Be another song that like just bores the shit out of me. Just like not good. Just a slower pace, a really just like odd sort of tempo, and just the pacing to the song, the melody of the song, just it's not, these are not like good melodies. We start off with like decent melodies that were, still in the Korn style but different, which is good, comfortable, but these just leave like the territory of being like decent and like bearable, and they just become bad. Then we get Love and Luxury, and it still is not great, but it gets a little bit better from this point, and it's definitely a stronger song than the two disasters that we just listened to. So, but still not great. There's definitely a pickup in the tempo, thank God. Like I said, I have no problem with a slower tempo in these songs, but like it gets to the unbearable, grinding, boring. And these are a little bit like longer. These songs they charter on the like 5 minute mark almost. Innocent bystander. Oh man, now this is by far my favorite track on the album. This is classic Korn. There's a hint that something is different here from the rest of these tracks when you listen to this song. This sounds like it shouldn't even be on this album. You've got a pretty cool, different sounding chorus that sounds more in the vein of like what Jonathan Davis you'd expect from him, with like a shouted chorus, and they don't really slow down too much in this song, and I think that really benefits it. There's some really nice sections here, and they take like a step away from the industrial sound, the electronics on here, to really kind of let you hear the guitars really for like the first time on this album, because you don't really get that too much. There's a little bit more of it on Hold On, but Hold On just has more of this, not like a very untraditional sound, and I'm just like not a big fan of that song. But Innocent Bystander is like, if you've been like put off by like what people have said about this album in the past, you should listen to this song, and like really like kind of like only this song. Um, Killing. I really like how this song starts off, like that opening riff, but then it kind of like gets into a point where it's not like a bad song, but it becomes just a decent song. Like you really sound, you think you're in for like something really good, and then it kind of just kind of like just eases out of it at that point. Hushabye, not bad for like a slower song. Like it's definitely better than Ever Be and Do What They Say, like those two disasters. But this is like not how you want to like ease out of the album. It's just like, again, it's just quite boring. There's nothing interesting about this song. You could kind of tell that Jonathan Davis is a little bit more emotional, a little bit more energy here. But that's like the problem, like with this album. You really sense that there's like a low amount of energy from Jonathan Davis. And the band have been going through a lot of problems, a lot of members just like leaving, and that's like another big element to like look at this. You had so many members like leaving. Like you didn't have the original drummer, you didn't have Head at this point, he was long gone. And then we get our final song, I Will Protect You. And okay, you know, this song again, it's boring. It's another boring song that doesn't really have anything much to offer. Like you don't really feel good like leaving this album with I Will Protect You. The song kind of just fades on. The last minute is just Jonathan Davis trailing off, like repeating the chorus, and you just feel like disappointment, like leaving this album. You kind of just feel like, well, why should you even stick around for the last track? So like overall, this is an album that I'm definitely not gonna go back to ever. Like honestly, it's just an album that's worth skipping, and it's an album that a lot of people don't even talk about when referring to Korn. Like, does anyone know anyone who actually like likes this album like a lot and says that it's like their favorite? I really doubt it. And it's probably not even a Korn fan if they're saying that, or it might have been the only Korn album they ever heard. But like, dear God, if that's the case, it's. Do I think it's like worth a listen if you've never listened to it? Not really, especially if you haven't listened to other Korn albums. I mean, you're just gonna be bored with some of these tracks. I mean, for the most part, the majority of the tracks are decent. but they have so many other better albums in that. Like all the ones I mentioned, Issues, Follow Leader, See You on the Other Side. Take a Look in the Mirror that takes a lot of shit like from fans, which I think is really good. See, that's the thing. I'm not. You guys know how I am on this channel. I don't follow the pack. But this is like one album I have to agree on. Like it's not very good. So yeah. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. What other albums? Yeah, give me some ideas here so I have to like search around. Are there other albums that have like anniversaries coming out or other albums that like deserve to be looked at here on this channel in a video? You can leave your suggestions down below. I'd appreciate it. And guys, thank you all for watching. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And guys, I'll see you next time.